In this video, we will provide you with an overview of what the member's online statement looks like, and also how we can go about configuring the settings for the online statements. A member can access their online statements by logging into your club's website, then either clicking on their name in the dropdown and choosing My Statements, or via Member Central and choosing Statements. We're on the statement page currently, so let's go ahead and scroll down. The member's name and member number will appear within their statement for them. We are currently on the Account Summary tab, and if we scroll down a bit, I'll show you what we can see here. The Account Summary view of a member's statement will provide your members with a summary of their account information, including their current balance, last statement, minimum information if applicable, as well as their last 12 billed statements. Our current balance can be seen here, and if you do have an online payment provider, a member can click the Pay Now button and can be taken to the online payment portal to pay their statements. The updated date seen here is the last time your member's statement has received an update. The date specified will only be changed if a member's statement has new information. Below that updated date, we have our current unbilled statement. A statement will be marked as billed on the date indicated in the rollover configuration settings. Below the unbilled statement, we have our minimum balance. The minimum balance is a predetermined amount that members must spend within a given period. If minimum billing cycles are utilized by your club, minimum information can be displayed on a member's statement, including plan name or description, minimum to spend, spent to date, as well as the balance, and the start and end of the current minimum spending cycle. Then below our minimum balance, we have our last 12 billed statements. These billed statements have already been closed out by the club and are considered billed. To view the details for a statement, simply click on the date of the statement. In the statement period view, you can easily navigate to a different statement period by utilizing the dropdown. The Statement Period tab allows a member to view details for a particular month. When viewing a particular statement period, all activity within that period will be displayed in the order of oldest to newest, starting with the balance forward from the previous month. Clicking on a CHIT number will display the associated CHIT information if available. At the top, you can see we do have a Contact Accounting button. A member can click the Contact Accounting, and as long as they have an email program on their device, an email will be populated with the member's name, member number, the name of your club, and regarding whatever page they have clicked on. It will also include the to address that you have set up in the configuration of your statements. Then beside that Contact Accounting, we do have the print option as well. The print option will allow your members to print the section of their statement that they are currently viewing. Your logo will be printed in the top left-hand corner here. If we scroll down our statement, you'll see that the minimum balance can also be found within the member statement. And below that, we have the aging information. The accounts receivable aging can be displayed within the online member statements. This is a periodic report that classifies outstanding receivable balances for a member. This information is broken up into 5 specific periods within the online member statements. These periods include the current, as well as 30, 60, 90, and 120 days. At the very bottom of our statement, we have a message area. There are 2 different statement messages that can be displayed within this section. The first one is your club statement message. These messages are configured in your club's AR system and can be associated with particular billing cycles. These are the same messages that will appear on a physical statement that is normally mailed to your members. The other message option is the web-only statement message, which you see here. These messages are configured within your website and are only reflected online. Now let's go ahead and scroll back to the top of our statements. And let's take a look at the credit book. Credit books and loyalty balances that are tracked within your club's AR system can have their current balances displayed online. A credit book displays the amount of credit a member currently has at the club. A loyalty balance uses a loyalty module and has loyalty programs established so that members are rewarded for dollar-to-dollar or dollar-to-points basis. Primary members will have the ability to see their own credit books and loyalty balances, as well as their dependents. If the primary member has provided their dependents access to view their online statement, dependents will also have the privilege of viewing their own credit book, along with the primary members as well. Note that credit books are only available to Jonas Club management systems. And lastly, let's take a look at our levy purses. If your club utilizes levy purses within your AR system for your members, their transactions and balances can be displayed within their online statement. The information displayed for a member's levy purse is divided into levy periods based on the month the transaction occurred. Each levy purse will display the following information: the levy purse name, the status, and the current balance. A member can use the drop-down to view a different levy period. Note that levy purses are only available to Jonas Club management systems. The Online Statements module is a fully responsive application. What this means for your members is that whether they are viewing their statements via a desktop or laptop computer, or on a mobile device such as a smartphone or tablet, their statement will automatically adjust to suit their device. To access member statements, we must first be logged into the website. As an administrator, if we try and access a member's statements by clicking Statements, we will be notified that we don't have any statement data associated with our account. Instead, what you're going to do is, within Member Central, is navigate over to your roster or member directory, and go ahead and search for your member. Then, in order to access that member's statements, you're going to go ahead and click on that little dollar icon beside their name. Now, if we scroll down, what you see here is exactly what your members will see. To configure the online statements, you're going to click on your name, and you're going to switch to Club Central. That will open our dashboard for us, and to go into the statement configurations, we're going to look for our statements tile. The typical process that takes place prior to a statement update is a transaction takes place at the club. The end of the day is typically processed that evening or the following morning. Then the statement sync runs to display the most up-to-date information from your account system. Note that statements update every 6 hours, 6 a.m., 12 p.m., 6 p.m., and 12 a.m. on your time zone. So for example, if you complete your end-of-day process before 6 p.m., those charges and payments will now show up on the member statements for 6. However, if you do the end-of-day process after 6 p.m., those charges and payments will now appear on the member statements for midnight. So we typically suggest letting your members to know to check back in about 24 hours after they've made a payment or a purchase. In the event that transactions are not being updated, it is a good sign that your accounting system is not communicating with the website. If this does happen, please contact our support team and they will be able to assist you. Within the Statements module, if you're unsure of what a setting does, simply hover your mouse over the question mark and it will provide you with the breakdown. And also note, if you do come in here and make any changes, just make sure you click that Save button in order to save your changes. First, let's take a look at the rollover settings. The rollover setting indicates the number of days it takes for an unbilled statement to be marked as a billed statement on the online member statements. Therefore, it is simply just a visual display. Even if you haven't processed the end of the month in your AR system, all transactions will still update regardless if the statement has been marked as unbilled or billed. The purpose of the rollover settings is that automatic rollover for you, so that as long as you do your end of the month process in your accounting system, say for example, on the 3rd day of the month, my December statement will now be marked as a billed statement. Now you do have the option of doing a manual rollover, and to do that we're just going to uncheck automated statement rollover. And if you use this option, please note that you do have to come in here every month and make sure you finalize each statement. But to make it a little bit more simple, we do like to go with our automated rollover. That way, as long as you're completing your end of the month in your AR system, the website will automatically mark member statements from unbilled to billed. Below that, we have our general settings. The first few include whether or not you want the information to be shown on a member statement. We can include to show the unbilled statements, which is our current statement. We can display minimums if you do have minimums at the club. And we can also choose to display extra statement data, which is actually the aging information. When it comes to the dependents viewing a primary member statements, we have two options. The first option is to allow dependents to view statements. This means that a member will be able to grant statement access to their dependents via the roster. Your other option is to allow all dependents to view statements by default, meaning that dependents will automatically have the access to view the primary member statements. However, this access can still be taken away via the roster. Note that the first time the primary member accesses their statements, it will take about 15 to 20 minutes for their statement data to populate on the website. And the first time they click on statements, they will get a message just asking them to check back in a few hours. Moving forward, their statement data will always be available for them. It is also important to note, a dependent will not be able to view a primary member's statements until the primary member has accessed statements first. Once they have accessed their statements, the dependents will now be able to view the member's statements, depending on how you set the configurations within your statements. If you do have it set up in your AR system, you can choose to group your statements by resource or business area. If you leave this option unchecked, it will put all the statement data into one table. Then you have your accounting email. The email address you enter here will appear in the To field whenever a member clicks Contact Accounting. Then you're able to go ahead and set the landing page. The landing page is the first page that a member will see when they click on their statements. Your option includes the account summary, which lists all the information, the current statement, or our last billed statement. Then lastly, in this area, we can choose if we want our minimum plan name to display or the description. And we typically recommend the description, as the plan name is usually used for internal reference and might not be as clear to your members as the description. On the right-hand side of the screen, we have the payment integration. If you do have a payment provider, this is where you would place that URL and set our type to Pay Now, which will then enable that Pay Now button within the member statements. Additional info settings allows us to display the credit book and or loyalty balances if you are utilizing them at the club. And just below that, we also have levy settings. Also, if you'd like to display the levy settings and display inactive levy purses if you are currently utilizing the levy settings within your backend system. Next, we have customization. This area allows you to customize the different headers and labels that appear within the online statements. The statement headers appear within the table in a member statement. Some headings that you might like to change include your CHIT, where members might refer to it as a reference number, ticket number, receipt, or maybe CHIT, and for service charge based on your tax laws, if you either go by service charge, gratuity, or maybe you don't utilize that column at all. Scrolling down here, we have our statement tab labels, which we typically leave the same. However, you're more than welcome to adjust if you like. As well as your summary headers seen below that. So you have unbilled versus billed statement. You can always put in current statement or past statements, for example. Then scrolling up to the top right, we have our print-friendly statement logo, which will be put here for you, and this will appear anytime a member clicks that print button. And then if you like, you are able to adjust the headers for your minimums. Then lastly, we have our messages. The club statement message is the message that appears on the printed statements. If you do want this message to appear on your online statements, just make sure you enable this option. Then below that, you have the web-only statement message. You can add a message in the content area below here, and this will only show on the online statements.